As a kid, I loved making flip books. They were all I did in art class. Whenever I had it, I worked very hard on one particular flip book. It was around 50 pages long, I guess. It had a simple stick figure, walking into the page, waving at me, and then walking off. I would took at least a dozen times to look over the day I made it. When it got boring, you know how kids are, not entertained by one thing for very long, I tossed it under my bed and never gave a second thought. A few months later, I was cleaning up my room and swept the stack of paper from under my bed. I couldn't quite remember what it was. I flipped through the page once more and got a sweet taste of nostalgia. I just flipped through the page once more and noticed a page that hadn't aged or gained any dirt at all. I flipped through a third time and the stickman would walk onto the page and wave at me, but it didn't walk off. Instead, the second stickman joined him, and it waltzed up, out either having an item in its hands or severely disfigured arm. It wasn't like anyone could tell the difference. The second stickman walked to the first stick figure and stood there for a moment, then whacked the poor fellow upside the head. The figure stick fell, and the second stickman swung the stick at the other man, again and again and again. When I assumed that was blood ran from the stick figure's rather jagged body, it looked like nothing more than a smeared pencil stains. The killer stick then proceeded to bend down and tear apart the first stick body's man's limb from limb. Then once he was done, he bent each other one into characters and letters. He then set them up from a single word. He grabbed the base of his own round arm and tore it off, then tore off his legs and then his arms, a zigzag body parts, and found themselves into a second word that made me burn the flip book. You're next. Well, my pretties, that was Flip Book, a creepypasta. My final thoughts on the story. It was an interesting story at first glance. Most of it was good, but very last part at the end of the story was You're Next. That is kind of cliched. That is very cliched. Like, a lot of creepypastas have done that. This is kind of one of the reasons why creepypastas they're just dying nowadays, because some of the newer stories are not even the greatest. And that's really sad, because most creepypastas I've read were pretty decent. And some of them may not have been the best, but they definitely weren't terrible. In my honest opinion, this story was good. But at the exact same time, when I look at this story, it honestly just doesn't look great. The very last part of the ending, it definitely said along the lines of, you're next. Who the hell ends a story like that? This is pretty much most of the time when it comes to the creepypastas. Most Lost Episode pastas like to sit there and do that. I kind of really don't understand or get it, to be honest. That's exactly what I'm trying to say, is that I don't really understand. But in my honest opinion, the story was not terrible, but it could have been better. The beginning of it was all pretty nice, with the person, doing something what they love doing in art class. And then now right here, we just see the ending, the very last part of the ending basically says something along the lines of you're next. I just find that to be very cliched, because most of the time a lot of Lost episodes seem to be, creepypastas seem to be doing that. That's really the only thing I could definitely say right now. This is definitely one of the reasons that the story kind of just went downhill. That's really disappointing, because I used to really enjoy, creepypastas that didn't end with that. But in my honest opinion, it just went downhill. And that's exactly what this story did. Mainly the very last bit of the story. Like the very last part, it says, you're next. What does that even have to do with the story? That's really the problem because it doesn't state what does it even mean? Was there like somebody who made that purposely just to try to scare the person or something? I seem to notice that is becoming the most cliched thing I have ever seen, especially when it comes to creepypastas. I don't even know why that's happened to be the case, but I'm afraid that's a question I'm probably not going to have answered because I'm still looking at it right now and I still don't even know it. But that very last bit was just, I don't know what to say anymore. I really don't know. That's literally the last thing I really gotta say is because I don't really know. So, this is kind of making me wonder. But at the same time, though, I really don't freaking know why the hell that's being the case. But it is. That's literally something I don't understand or get it. And that's unfortunately something. So, that's just disappointing. And I'm being brutally honest. And I'm not gonna lie. This one was definitely something I didn't understand. And this is just utterly something that I don't get it either. Okay. I guess with that being said and that being the case, and I'm going to be brutally fair and honest, this story was, it was just not that good. That's just one of the only things I could definitely say about this story. But, in all due reality, I really thought this story was, okay or something. But at the same time, though, it's just, I don't even know. I don't even know why that the last bit of the ending, but the last bit of the very ending last thing in it, that's just basically what made me not like the story entirely because of that. So, yeah, that's the only reason I really have to say. But other than that, the story was not bad, but definitely not terrible either. So, I guess with that being said and that being the case, I'm gonna definitely say right now to the author of the story, if you're the author of the story, please let me know, and I'll be sure to give you proper credit in description, etc. If you happen to be the author of the story, if you happen to come across this video, I did see a few narrators narrate this one, so that's why I decided to choose to narrate this. Okay. I guess with that being the case, so with that being said, I'm going to sit here and say right now that this story was alright, but it just, I don't even know. But at the same time, it just kind of makes me wonder really about it. So, I just don't understand this. I just don't understand the last bit. The last bit of the ending just went flat. But the rest of the story was okay. But the story was mainly good up until the last bit. The last bit of the story was just what I had an issue with. But that's just the only thing. But other than that, the story was pretty interesting up until the last bit. Like the your next part, that has been cliched. That's literally one of the things I can definitely say. And now if I repeat myself, I apologize. But anyways, like I said before, this is just simply my own personal opinion. If you happen to disagree with me, that's fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions regards to these creepypastas, and this is just simply my own personal thoughts. I give this story a 8 out of 10. Maybe not the best perfect story in the world, but the fact that, the very last sentence of the story, which ends up me, just deducting a point or two from it because it says, "You're next." That's been cliched. And that is literally the most cliched thing anybody can add. But I could give it benefit of the doubt that this is an older story, but at the same time, I really have to state my honest thoughts on that part. And I did have to say something. So anyways, what did you personally guys think of this story? Did you enjoy it? Did you not? Also, what you have done personally to help make this story a lot better? Feel free to leave me know what your thoughts are down in the comments below. I'm the Lion Queen. I want to thank you so much for watching today's video. If you're new to my channel, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. Ring the bell for notifications when I upload, so that way you guys will not miss an upload. And as always, please roll the outro because I'm out, and I'll see you all next time.